Boom! Back again, another episode of Stop Talking Ball, where the real ballers talk. We've got a Champions League lineup tonight. Got a few top coaches in the building. So yeah.
You know they could be us, but you like to play too much. Don't need no hoe, I'm building up, I'm talking all my guys. Better don't play with me. I had my dream, now switch the scene. Nobody gon' carry the team, we do it together. You know it's our time to kill. You know that money on.
So yeah, start off with you, Jonah. Just introduce yourselves.
Yeah, my name's Ebbs. Actually, I'm a coach. Been coaching for about 5-6 years now.
Cool. How about you?
I'm Scott. B licensed coach, coaching for 16 years. Academy, non-league, professionally, yada yada yada.
And
Yeah, my name's Craig. I've been coaching for 10 years, university, academy, still doing a little bit now here and there. So, yeah.
sounds good. So obviously, I'll start with you, Ebbs. We started coaching. So I met you at the UEFA C coaching
Yeah.
course. Yeah. So
Now that what? Just started this year, innit?
yeah. So a few months back. So we did that. You've got your UEFA C license
Yeah,
now.
got yours?
Not quite just yet.
Oh.
Still need to get assessed, but I'm on the way.
Yeah,
I'm on the
fair,
way.
fair.
On the way. So like, how long? So you say you've been coaching for a few years now.
Yeah, about 5 years now. So
And who do you coach with? Is that with like a team or?
yeah, so I got 2 teams mainly. So I got my own grassroots team, local team, around my area from Clinton, and I also work with Folly Foundation with their with their kids program to try and help them push on kids from their kids program to the academy set up. My main role there.
Yeah. And Scott. So like we obviously met each other about a year ago now at university.
Oh yes, yeah, joyful year ago.
Yeah.
That's when I took up the position of head of men's football at the University of East London, of which Troy was an esteemed student, a class act. Do you want me to keep talking?
Go on.
Joining
Star
us, yeah.
player.
Big him up, big him
Obviously
up.
UEL top record goal scorer. Is that the tag you want me to get in? Yeah. So
History
yeah.
maker.
yeah,
that's
that was
nice.
that was obviously the time that we obviously contacted, but to follow on, my career goes a decade and a half past that.
Yeah. So what led you up until that point then? So obviously you had a long career of coaching and managing. Where did it start? Where did your journey start?
Well, when did it start? I was at I think the last team I played for was Concord Rangers as a youth player, and then I went to college. And to be perfectly blunt, I didn't have a Scooby Doo of what I wanted to do, and it was kind of a college. It was either college or work.
Yeah.
So me being a lazy sod, I was like, no, I'll choose college. And so I done that. I didn't have a Scooby what I wanted to do. I was on a BTEC sport course, and at the end of the first year, they obviously offer first aid or something like that as a freebie, and they offered the FA level 1. All right, I'll do that, and I've done that at the end of my first year, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
Ever since then. Since leaving college, I worked for Curver. I've worked at South Essex College, with spells at the likes of Grays, QPR Academy, Hornchurch. Then upon leaving, I then went to Ipswich, ended up at Braintree in the National League, and then went to coach professionally out in Asia. Came back with Concord when they got to the FA Trophy final during COVID, annoyingly, and then ended up taking up the job at UEL in August last year. So that's how it's gone so far.
Good story. So I'm interested in when you coached out in Asia professionally. What was that like? Can you talk a bit about it?
Hot.
Hot, yeah.
Very hot.
What
When I was
country
on
was in?
It was Bangladesh, of all
Okay,
places. So yeah, it was in the Bangladesh Premier League. whilst it might be a third world country, the coaches that I was working with, one of them is, I think he still is the youngest international coach at the age of 26, he was at the time. And the technical director used to deliver the A license, which for those who don't know, you've got 5 levels of coaching: level 1, 2, UEFA B, UEFA A, and then your pro license. One of the people who was on one of his pro license courses now is the manager of the England national team. So that's the kind of level that I was at. On the way to Heathrow, the snow had just started falling, and so I was kind of dressed kind of not dissimilar to this. And then you get off the plane and it's 23 degrees, and I think that was the coldest it ever got out there. No, the temperature doesn't.
Nice.
Temperature does not plummet at night; it stays hot. So that was the initial bit of it. But actually, when you think of the football, it's not. It's not dissimilar. Yeah, it's a massive culture shift. Yes, it's obviously the surroundings you've got are, let's just say, eye-opening. Some of the things that you see compared to what we're kind of blessed with in the West or kind of developed world. But actually, there's a bit of a language barrier. But actually, when it comes to designing your sessions, implementing your sessions, it's broadly the same. Yeah, you have to change your coaching, and obviously we'll go on to that a bit later. But the actual ins and outs and the basics of coaching, there's no real
difference.
Difference. It's just ability levels.
Yeah, football's football at the end of the day. For sure. But I guess obviously Bangladesh isn't really known for us. Football, and was there like a good support out there? Was there good real interest in football?
No. It was, and that's probably actually mainly due to the administration of the league rather than the actual kind of populace itself. Obviously, in that part of the world, cricket is a major thing. It used to be, I think I've got getting this right. It used to be called East Pakistan before it got its independence. So it's obviously very, very cricket orientated in that part of the world. But football is obviously the most popular sport in the world. So getting kind of interest was not the major issue. It was the administration of the league, where they would have games every 3 or 4 days kind of continuously, whereas over here it's kind of a Saturday and a Tuesday, maybe the odd Wednesday game. I know a few clubs are trying to do it Friday night to kind of capitalize, but it's normally kind of set in stone, whereas out there it was just a kind of roll on, and it was a case that games would be kicking off at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which again is absolutely fine for Saturday games over here. But it's not just that, but it'll be like 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, or Thursday, and you're going, hang on, the idea is to generate revenue through crowds and people that are halfway through their shift, and you're going, no, that's not quite how you should do it. So, you'd get kind of a big interest with some. You'll get some clubs that are massively popular, some that aren't, but that was mainly a kind of a league administrative thing that kind of shot themselves in the foot more than anything.
And then so what would you say, like, obviously now you're the coach at University of East London, what are the main would you say challenges or differences in obviously coaching abroad and all the various different levels you have?
Bangladesh helped massively in terms of simplifying sessions, especially technical practices, because you can't go into massive detail because there's a bit of a language barrier. So you have to make sessions, and I found my sessions now are much more kind of realistic than what they once were. As a young coach, you're thinking of kind of, let's throw cones absolutely everywhere. Whereas now it's much more a case of, right, well, no, actually, let's just use the pitch. So rather than setting up endless cones and mannequins and things like that, Just go, right, we've got a
Simple
penalty.
drills doing the basics.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be a really easy way to kind of get across to the players because they've been through this situation before. It's not alien to them. You're just trying to kind of enhance their skill set. So, whether it be playing through the thirds or whatnot, they're going off the same reference points. They know what you're trying to achieve. It's just a case of perfecting it. So you haven't got to go through all the finer details because they're most of the way there. It's just trying to get everybody on the same wavelength. So actually being out there, no, I didn't pick up any Bangla. So I can't speak. It's not my second language. But it just meant that when I'm talking to the players, it's much more simple. It's like, right, you can see this scenario. This is how it starts. We go live from that. I want you to try and achieve this, that, and the other. And we'll start from there. And they'll be able to visualize it and they'll be able to go through it. Because they won't be able to understand all the kind of slang terminology and things like that. But you just kind of strip it back, keep it really simple. And they go, okay, yeah, I've been in this situation before. I was only in this situation last week. And then it's just a case of building up a rapport and things like that they end up trusting you, and then away you go.
So obviously you coach as well, do a bit of coaching.
Yeah.
So what are you currently doing at the moment, and what's your experience?
So if you start from the experience and then work towards what I do now. So I started coaching probably back in 2012, fresh out of uni, started a grassroots team with one of my boys. And we kind of wanted to make it was pretty much our bread and butter. Building this team, it's called Neon Dragons. So it's all kids that were local.
Go East London.
Yeah. So I would have graduated 2012. Then I went on to do a graduate placement with them for a year. And that's when I started up my team. And then, so I had all local boys in my team. We did an under 15s team. I went into under 16s. Our coaching background from them was pretty much about teaching them what we already knew. So we weren't kind of going off any sort of script or anything like that. It's what I currently have as a player. Can we now give it to these 15, 16-year-olds? And it's kind of what we kind of went with going forward. And we played quite a big role in terms of making them better people at the same time.
Yeah.
So we took very big interest in what's going on at school. If you're getting detentions, turn up to training late, turn up to games late. There were so many little things we were putting in to help them become a lot more disciplined as people.
Yeah, as a person.
Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we look back at it now and think, you know what, we're probably a bit harsh in terms of we were still young. We were like 20. Kids was 21. I was 23. So we're still young, fresh, eager. Do you see what I'm saying? So we've gone in there with so much care, but at the same time, we're showing so much energy towards what's going on off the pitch and that sort of thing. Obviously, we did quite well. The team did well. Some of our boys went on to do big things in terms of going into semi-professional football. Some had opportunities to try and play pros. So it's something that we were obviously quite proud of. We ended up building a college program off of that with Pro Direct. So my boy Keir started up with that. So the transition was after under 16s, as we already know. Usually when it comes to under 16s, it all stops, especially at grassroots. Do you see what I'm saying? So we wanted to find avenues to keep him playing. So that's when he started up the whole college program. And then from there, we had 2 extra teams by the time we finished our first season. So we had 2 under 14 teams. It was meant to just be 1. But one just became so oversubscribed, we had to make 2, which is quite a blessing because we had quite a lot of coaches on show that wanted to be a part of it. But it gave them an opportunity to have their own team, which obviously did have its own difficulties because it then became the conversation of A team, B team. When it's not what we were trying to build, it was just giving everyone an opportunity to play. And that had its difficulty, especially with the other team thinking that they're a B team and I don't want to be there if I'm not in the team that's considered the most important. You know what I mean? So that had its own challenges. And thankfully, all 3 teams that year won the league. So it's something that actually worked quite well in the end. And from there, I ended up coaching at a 6th form college. So I went to St. Dominic's in northwest London. I think the biggest thing about me going there was as soon as I saw manage the football program, I was like, that's what I wanted to do. There's much more to my role, as in like sports coordinator, that sort of stuff. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, nah, I need that job. Nah, I want to do this. So I've gone in there and I've done that again. My stance was, I want you to do well at your college stuff as well as play football for me. You can't be playing for me and getting in trouble in school or college, because it comes back to me. I'm allowing you to play when you're not doing well. Do you see what I mean? And long term, some of you want to be pros, but realistically, you're talking 0.0001%. So I had to really focus on making sure they were doing their college work in order to be able to play. And we had some success, got to the Middlesex semi-finals twice. So I've done that for about 3 years. I moved on from there to Queen Mary University. So I did coach for them. Started working for Leyton Orient's Academy, originally as their BTEC tutor. But that was the year they were in the National League for the second year. And how the funding works, if you're outside of the Football League for 2 years, academy's gone.
Yeah.
So we was in that second year, and they've hardly any coaches. And I said to the academy manager, so if I wanted to coach it, what do I need? And he said to me, do you want to do support work? And I was like, yeah, well, of course. But then at the time, I was still playing non-league. So I was like, I don't know, that means my Tuesdays are gone, because he wanted to help out with the under-14s, which trained on a Tuesday. And I'm like, I can't go training, I can't go to the game. And it took for one of my uncles to tell me, like, working at Orient is going to be huge. Like, you can't say no to that. And that's what kind of flicked the switch. So I took that, did that, started working with them. So I ended up working for them full time for about 4 seasons. I've now moved on to Millwall. But my role at Millwall, I don't involve coaching. I just do player care, so all the player support stuff. But yeah, from Orient, I picked up a role at City University. So I currently coach them. So that's where my coaching's at the moment. So I've got first team and second team, play quite lower down in the tiers, but we're working our way up at the moment, trying to build a program. So this is my 3rd season there now. And yeah, and that's just where I'm at the moment. With me, I'm trying to my best now to get away from results. My coaching has always been around, let's get the team to win, get them to win, get them to win, get them to win. I said, no, I need to strip that. I want to make like a blueprint. It's, if you play City University, this is how they play. Like, okay, this is how they're going to set up. This is what they're going to do. So me and the other coach are really working towards coming away from thinking about how much they win and focus on performances. Because I think that's the next part of our development. A lot of people ask me, what do you want to do in coaching? I said, to be honest, I probably should skip coaching and go straight into managing, because I can get a team to win, but I haven't really worked very hard on developing. So I thought I have to now try and work that way in terms of my coaching. So yeah, that's just where I'm at now.
You touched on it a little bit, but you mentioned you played non-league and then went straight into football. Was obviously everyone's dream as a kid was to go professional in football.
Of course.
I feel like a lot of people that get into coaching is because it's the next best thing type thing.
Yeah.
Was that the case for you, or was it more of a natural thing to go into coaching?
I think it was probably a bit more natural, especially at the time, because I did like the idea of being a young coach with a team that wasn't so far away from me in age. So my group would have been about 6, maybe 7 years younger than me. You don't have to be my little sister, basically that sort of age. So yeah, my boy Keir started it up, and he said, "Look, do you want to get involved in it?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? Obviously, you got to start your coaching somewhere." So and immediately you start to get hooked. You're like, these are your players. They're coming to you, looking for you to make them better and you to show that energy on the sideline. And before you know, we're running up and down the touchline just like them, catching the amount of yards that they are. You know what I mean? Covering the distances. So excited, but yeah, I think once I got into it naturally, I was like, yeah, you know what, I really enjoy what I do, and especially because you could put your own spin. Like if you're working under a banner where you have to behave a certain way, how you being at a professional club, you have to stick to some form of rules. Where when it's yours, it's your spin, it's your ideas, the way you want to go about it. So if you wanted to go down the route of making them better people at the same time, you could do that, knowing that you can put those things in place. So yeah, I think eventually I was always going to get in it. It was just probably a question of when.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was on the horizon at the time because I just wanted to concentrate on playing. But you know what? I don't do nothing on Sundays. Why not? You can coach on a Friday night, have them Sunday. So it made sense. So yeah, it's went that way.
Yeah. So with me, like obviously my goal is still to play the highest level I can. But I do a lot of coaching. I work in primary schools. But I feel like coaching as well, it also helps me on the pitch.
100%.
Because like you see it from a different perspective.
100%.
Because as a kid, I was like, managers tell you certain things, but it's like I always felt like no one could see the game how I saw it. I felt like I would always see it in a different way. But then when you're in a coaching perspective, you have to see it from like a broader perspective. So you see it from a different perspective, and it's like, okay, it makes sense now. Now I'm on the pitch. I'm thinking about things that maybe I wouldn't have done a few years ago, just because of me coaching and me taking myself
seeing it from the other side.
From the other side point of view. From the other side point of view.
I mean, that's not really the case. I mean, you actually speak to a lot of players actually become closer to their coaches once they've stopped playing, because it's no longer the case of, oh, you're doing this kind of mess me about or screw me over, or just doing it out of spite. They actually go, kind of once the dust has settled, they go, yeah, I could see what you
Why you
meant
do-
by
I know why you did
do
that.
this, that, and the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just a case of, like you said, just seeing it from a different perspective of kind of what we see on the sidelines. Not telling you out of spite. We're saying, no, if you make this slight tweak, you're taking one step back to then take 2-3 steps forward. Whereas when you're in the moment, it's like, what do you mean you're taking the game away from me or telling me I'm doing something wrong? It's like, no, I know I'm right. I'm in the moment, which normally is the best experience, to be in the moment. But when you actually sat from outside, you can kind of get a bit more appreciation of what kind of they're trying to get across to you.
Yeah, definitely.
I think even now, but especially when I was a younger, obviously I'm a greedy player, take on theirs a lot. But like when they would tell me stuff like coaches and that, I just wouldn't listen. So it's like I'll just carry on doing the same things, making the same mistakes, every time. So then, yeah. But if I felt like I would have seen it from a different perspective when I was younger, seen it from their point of view, then maybe it would have changed my football path or whatever.
But I've always thought that, especially with getting points across, something I've learned over the last couple of years, it's sometimes the language you use and also at the same time how you put it across. So if you tell a person why you're doing X and what the outcome is, you might get a different response. So you say, for instance, you're told to dribble less, pass the ball. You're told that, but you're like, what am I going to do that for?
Yeah.
Don't see the point.
Yeah.
But if you're told, if you did this, this is the outcome, and this is what you're going to get, and that's the success you're going to get, you might think, oh, let me try that.
That was the problem as well, because when I was like 8, 9, 10, I was so much better than everyone else that when I would take 4 or 5 players on when I should have passed it and maybe lost it by the final, I'm like, but I've still had, in my eyes, that's a success. I've just dribbled past 5 players and nearly scored, whereas I could have just simply passed it to someone and then they could have scored, for example. So it's like, it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because it's like, because I had a lot of ability when I was younger, seeing it from the coach's point of view was just so hard for me, because it's
Would have
like,
been, yeah.
if I wasn't so good and then I changed what I did and then the coach was like, yeah, see, it works better this way, it would have made me maybe change my style of play, in that sense. But yeah.
Well, I mean, that can go on from his point of changing it from a winning team to thinking of performances. Now, as a youngster, your coach, so for in this case, would be going oh, this is amazing, kind of winning every week, scoring, hat trick at least, and kind of all this, that, and the other. But then you're not thinking of kind of the bigger picture. It's like, well, actually, what are the skill set he's going to need in 3, 4, 5 years' time? Am I just going to enable it because I'm guaranteeing that he's going to score at least a brace every single week? Well, all right, that's doing wonders for your confidence now, but is that giving you the tools to succeed in half a dozen years' time or whatever? And sometimes it takes kind of seeing things from a different perspective in order for it to the penny to
Like a
drop.
switch.
Yeah. So like, obviously we've all played football at certain points. So is it like, was your goals to become footballers, or was it always to become a manager or a coach, or how was that transition?
Well, for me, I'm a goalkeeper, innit? So from young, I already knew. I wasn't good enough. I already knew. Cool, I'm not gonna make it. I want to make it in football. I like, cool. What's the next best step to do? I like, cool. I can't do football. Let's do sports science. Something that's a bit interesting. I like sports. I like science. Cool. When I started doing that in uni now, cool. I still like the sports part. I don't really like the science part at all. I like, cool. What can we now? What's the next step from that now? Oh, coaching. I really got into it. And I was like, wow, I need to buy a team and do this, do that. I wasn't really on it like that until I met one guy to this day. Shout him out, Coach H. He was like, wow, I got a team. If you want to start off with me, let's do it. I was like, oh, I was just working in Tesco one day. Like, yeah, if you want a team, you can come through, you can started working with me, got like under 10, I think, yeah, man, I'm ready. I think I have nothing. They haven't no DBS, no level 1, no nothing. I was like, well, yeah, but I'm
Not best practice for those.
yeah, for sure.
Not
Nah,
best practice.
I know that. I'm thinking, right, you should have took me on, but he's like, yeah, you won't come for help out. I was like, yeah, cool.
But you passed your DBS now, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Looking
to the camera and saying, yes, I've done
for sure. But yeah, so after that now, started working with him for like a year or so. But with him now, he was more on the one-to-one stuff, not really making that a team. So even though he had teams there, like, but they wouldn't be in the league. They'll just like do friendly there and there. So I was really thinking like, wow, it's not really that. It's coaching, but it's not for me. That I want like a team. I want to like grow as a coach. That's what I really wanted to do. I really got stuck into it now. So then I found the team out right now. The guy who runs it now, he's been doing it for years, but he never had coaches that to help him out. So he tried and recruit me and Coach H to help him out with his team. But Coach H wasn't on it. He was on that doing his own thing. I was like, cool. For me, I had to figure out myself in it. I was like, cool, let me work with him now. See what I can do. I've been with him ever since. And he's now leaving, and I'm becoming the head coach.
The main man.
Huh?
The main man.
Yeah, main man now.
That's it.
Yeah, steady.
What's up?
Shafting him out the door.
So I just like from young, I already knew I wasn't a goalkeeper. I was like, cool. Now I'm a goalkeeper. I see the game very different. Like, I play the outfield. So that cool. So I put all that I learned from being a goalkeeper into my coaching.
Yeah.
So you've gone from taking 2 steps away from the game, and then ended up making a step closer back towards the game, because you kind of went from playing to not doing anything, just doing kind of the academic stuff, and then you kind of found the in between that was kind of your happy medium.
Yeah, now I just do like basically like 7 sides. If I do 11 sides, it's just for the help. But I know myself, like, cool, I'm not the tallest person to be in goal every time. So I know what these guys all trying to chip it for long. Like, there's too much energy for me.
Was you one of them kids that they just stuck you in goal?
No, what? No, to be fair, I'll start being a keeper. To be fair,
I'm a keeper as well.
Don't let
him disrespect you.
But I think that I've met I think when I was 8 or 9, obviously wasn't the best technical. So I was like, oh, go, everyone go. And from there, I just happened to be good at it. To be fair.
Well, what's that like for you though? When you first started coaching, you know you're a goalkeeper and having to now deal with outfielders. How was that? Because I know when I work with keepers, there's only so much I can tell them because I don't know it.
It was a challenge, to be fair, though. It's only from working with other coaches that were out for, or having talked to the friends, or just actually being there. So that my first season with my under 10s team, that's literally a learning curve for me. Okay. The parents knew, which I liked. They gave me so much that they didn't want like, especially they weren't like to the heck with like, oh, why is he here? Like, he's just a little boy. I think I was about 19 then. He's like, he doesn't know what he's doing. They let me nurture, let me find my ground, find how to work with these players, and go. And after a while, just pick it up. Like, right, cool. We're gonna play like this, and obviously just watching football anyway. You obviously get part of the game anyway. So I'm big for Arsenal fans. I always love seeing wingers do certain stuff, seeing midfielders do stuff, and you just learn little things more and more. But it was a challenge though.
Yeah. I mean, leading on from that, I ended up kind of specializing down the goalkeeper coaching route. Was kind of how I've kind of made kind of my way up, because it's much more niche. There's kind of less people fighting over those positions. So if we look at back in the day, or kind of how they are now, or a Millwall, if they were to advertise for a outfield coaching position, part time, under 13s or whatever, the amount of CVs go flooding in. Whereas goalkeeping was not
less competition.
So that was kind of my kind of niche, kind of into it. In terms of how you coach the players, actually, if the players don't know that you come from a goalkeeping background, it actually makes it easier. So the challenges are more from the players than the actual coach, because you, as a goalkeeper, or as a goalkeeper coach, you have to know everything that the outfield players do, whereas as an outfield coach, you don't have to know everything a goalkeeper does. Because if you're doing topics like playing through the thirds, from the back, retaining possession, dealing with defensive transitions, things like that, you haven't got to worry about what the goalkeeper's doing. But me as a goalkeeper, I have to know what every player does for every single scenario, because
and your own roles as well.
Yeah, because the goalkeeper reacts to whatever it is, they have to know, right, what's the opposition player going to do, whether it be the opposition fullback, is he going to play a long direct ball over the top? Right, well, what might be the triggers for that? Is it going to be where he looks, what his angle of approach is, what the movement of his forward players is looking to do? And then how do I deal with that? Am I on the front foot? Is my start position in relation to the ball and the goal in the right place? All of those things. There's no topic when you're coaching goalkeepers that does not involve knowing what an outfield player does. And so it works really well when you get outfield players working with goalkeepers in goalkeeper sessions, because you can still coach the outfielders. So things like, probably the biggest one is through balls, 1v1s. You can do all the technical stuff in the world. It does not even come remotely close to having a forward like yourself running through on goalkeepers and say, do whatever the hell you like.
Yeah.
Run through, stick the ball in the back of the net, goalkeeper has to deal with it. And so it's you end up getting more issues with the players. But if the players don't know, and you just go about it, you know what every single position on the pitch should be doing. So it's kind of, you got the pros and cons, and it's how you deal. It's kind of how you deal with it. But, it's extra strings to your bow, definitely.
Two goalkeepers. one space. You know they say like goalkeepers are like there's something wrong with them.
They're crazy people. They're crazy people. They're not wired right.
You didn't say that to me when you invited me on here, Troy. Don't
I'll switch up now,
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Joker. What about you? So what position?
So I think football.
You played semi-pro as well.
Yeah, so I started playing football properly maybe when I was about year 11. So I was in year 7. Because I'm from a footballing family, obviously my family being Emile Heskey, so going into school, especially having Heskey as my surname, it became a massive pressure, especially secondary school. Because all of a sudden I've gone from just being Craig to then being Heskey. I remember my dad was talking to me about a couple of weeks ago. He remembers, took me out when I was about 12. We saw one of my friends in Ilford and he's like, yo, Heskey. And my dad's like, why is he calling you that? Obviously, I'm taking on that. That's cool. Like, I don't mind being called that. But then as I got older, I started to realize is that obviously my name is off the back of somebody else and what they're doing. You know what I mean? And so as much as it's my identity, and it obviously has been my identity ever since, but it's always been about your connection with Emile. And it's just like, obviously being a kid, you're just getting on with it. Yeah, cool. Everyone wants to know me, so it's fine.
Did it affect you at all?
At some parts of the year, 100%.
No, the reason I asked is when I was at QPR, we had, is it Brooklyn? Like I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
He was on trials. I think it was with our under 14s at the time. So you'd see normally Victoria, because obviously David was still playing at the time. But you could see kind of the weight of the world. I mean, obviously, with all due respect to
of course, that's a different level.
Him and David, but you could see kind of the weight of the world on the boys' shoulders. It was not his fault. He's just a player who just so happens to share half his DNA with one of the best. One of the best right foots in the business. But the way he was kind of on the sideline, or kind of when he would kind of go onto the pitch, I mean, he was a good player. You could just see kind of the weight of the world was on his.
Because your dad's David Beckham, like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the next level thing.
Yeah.
And Em was only my cousin. Can you imagine that? Like, that's a son. So that's a completely different situation. But going through school, it was it's automatically just became my identity. So obviously, become a striker straight away. There's a link. Obviously, someone in my family's a striker. So I'm going to be that person. Obviously, him being my role model. And so I started playing for the school. I think I scored 2 goals in my first ever 11-a-side game. Never played a game in my life. And from then, it was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to be a professional. And obviously, always trying to compare myself, which I shouldn't have done, to what he's done and what he was doing, which is wrong, because I'm not focusing on me. I'm focusing on what someone else has already done. You know what I mean? And so I went on from there. I went to play for Grays Athletic when I was younger. I think I got into the under 15s. So they were National League South at the time. Then got promoted to National League Prem. So I was in there under 15s, became captain of the under 16s, one player of the year, top goal scorer in the league. So I was doing quite well. I think one of my biggest hindrances in football was I didn't have much guidance. I was in it on my own. So didn't need my dad, didn't need my mum to take me anywhere. I was going. Like, if there's a game in Southend and I'm living from Stratford, I'm getting it. I don't care. Like, I need to get to, I don't know, Norwich. I'm getting. Nothing's stopping me. Like, nothing could get in the way of football. And I think that's probably one of my biggest downfalls. So if I took criticism from a coach, I'm taking it to heart with no one to talk to. And I'm thinking, oh, you know what? If they're going to be fucking me around, pardon my language, I'm just going to leave. Like, I'll just go somewhere else. I'm like, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to go somewhere else because if they're not going to appreciate me for what I've done, I'm just going to go. Like, that's what was in my head. But I needed someone older to tell me, you know what? I just play it out. Like, this is just a particular moment in this particular season. But I went on moving on from there. Went to Thurrock and finished my under 18s with them because I think I got to under 17s for Grays. They weren't playing Eastern Junior Alliance, which is the highest level of football outside academy. Yeah. So I wasn't in the under 18s team, I was in the under 17s. Went on trial with another team's reserves just to get experience. I'm still 15 because I'm late born in my year. So I'm August. So that preseason I'm there with Tilbury's reserves, obviously now known as 21s. And I was with them and their manager said to me, I would sign you, but one, you're 15, two, you ain't physically as developed as much, and you should be playing at least Eastern Junior Alliance. I said, yeah? Because yeah, you should be playing. So cool. So I went back to the Grays, spoke to the coach, and he said, I don't think you're good enough. Then the head blown off. My head was done. I was like, nah. Because I didn't respect him as much as a coach. I was like, no, I'm not having that from you. So immediately, all I'm thinking in my head is I need to get out. Like, I need to be playing at the level he says I can't play at. So I ended up going somewhere else. I went to Thurrock, played in Eastern Junior Alliance. So I've then proved, I knew I could have, then proved I could go and play at that level. And it's kind of kicked on from there, really. I was quite blessed enough to play for my national side. So I played for Antigua and Barbuda's under 20s. That's when I was in sixth form.
What was that like? Who did you play against?
Played against Jamaica, who slapped us up. That was an experience. We played against Aruba. So both games was in Aruba. I think I was out there for 9 days. And obviously I went to...
Like big that you played with or played along with?
Only the captain of Antigua now is... Funny enough, I was actually asked about him maybe a year after playing. Who did I think would go the furthest? And I said it's going to be him. And up to this day, he's still skipper for the senior team. And obviously we're now in our 30s. He's probably, 32 now. So he's still in there, still being one of the top players from the island and stuff. And I remember going there thinking, this is amazing. Because I went to St. Bond sixth form. So school's very strict. They're not going to let anyone out to leave to go and play football for a week. Like, that is not going to happen. So I've gone to school and said, look, they've picked me to play for the under 20s. I will do whatever you want because you are not stopping me from going. Like, I had to go. Like, that was, there's no excuse. So they said, all right, we want you to be 3 weeks ahead of everyone in terms of your work. I hated education, but no problem. That's fine because I'm going. This is happening. So I made sure, pestered all my teachers. I need work because I need to go. Because once I'm out there, I don't even want to focus on school. I don't care about A-levels right now. I care about what I'm doing. I'm going to Antigua to play football, paying for flights. I'm singing national anthems, all that sort of thing. And yeah, the experience itself, obviously, one of the best experiences
Do
I've ever
you
had.
remember the words?
Now, no.
Well,
I think if I heard
recite it for the fans. It's one of the questions that's on the choice list.
No, I think if I heard it now, I'll probably be able to sing along. But if you ask me right now to sing now, it's been that long. But yeah, no, the experience was
on YouTube.
Yeah, the experience was crazy, man. The experience was it was unbelievable. Especially when you're on the island, it's obviously you're in the under 20 squad. Obviously, I'm from England, so they're expecting a little bit more from me because of English boys. Yeah, of course. You know how it goes. And then obviously going back to school was like, wow, I've just come back off international duty. Like I had a duty of playing for a nation, how big or how small. And even then in my family, I wouldn't say it was necessarily a big deal because there's someone else that's up there. So me doing it down here didn't really mean much to my immediate, I'm talking, not necessarily him, because he was actually, Emile was one of the first people that reached out and said, how was it? Like, what was that like? You know what I'm saying? Again, bearing in mind at the time, he would have been in his prime playing doing what he's doing. You have to focus on what I'm doing. I'm doing whatever. But he still managed to reach out and say, how was it? What did it feel like? Who did you play with? That sort of thing. So it showed a bit of an interest.
Yeah, but he would have known kind of how big it felt for him. Yeah, obviously the difference in nations is kind of vastly different, but he would have known kind of how that felt at youth level, because I think he was he played for under 21s, didn't he?
He did under 16s, 18s, 20s, and 21s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he would have kind of under 16s. He would have got that kind of buzz that once he's had that taste of international football, regardless of whatever level it's at, you go, fancy a bit of this. And so the scales might be slightly different, but the same kind of feelings are
Yeah, they're all the same. Yeah,
Insane.
100%. They're all the same. But yeah, as went on. Obviously, I've only ever played non-league. I always felt that if I was to have made it pro, my level probably would have been National League if I was to ever have made it. But again, I would have needed a lot of guidance when I was younger in order to unlock that. It's when you start working with kids that are in the system, you look back and say, when I first started working at Orient, I watched these under 15s play and I was like, I was never that good.
Yeah.
I wasn't that level.
Yeah.
I wasn't that level. That was acceptance from them. Like, nowhere near it. The way they moved the ball was nowhere near it at that age. You know what I mean? So, but again, I think with the desire and hunger, and so I was always willing to learn, but I needed someone on my shoulder to say, no, Craig, no, stick it out, because you don't know what's going to happen. I could have stayed at Grays and something might have happened. And I don't know now, because I've made that decision based on my emotions of that situation. Bearing in mind, I would have been 16, would have just turned 16 making a decision. Child, effectively. So, guidance would have been a big thing in terms of if I was to go any further. But I look back and said, I'm proud of what I've done. I've done it for my own back. You know what I mean? It's me on my own, taking myself to games and taking myself home, assessing my own games in my head, trying to get over X, Y, and Z. So I thought, you know what? Fair play for what I've done in terms of the tools that I had to do it.
So football's completely done for you
now? No, I still play. So I'm at Tower Hamlets now. At the moment, with obviously the person I obviously used to coach with, so Kiernan, he's Mason's the manager, so I'm playing for him at the moment. I thought, you know what, I'm 33. I want to play as hard as I possibly can till I'm about 40. And then I might scale it down a bit. But obviously breaking my leg 2 years ago. When I was at when we was at Southend Manor. After that I thought I was done. I said, no, breaking bones in 30s don't make sense. I had all my 20s to do that. I'm running around, you play Saturday, play Sunday, Power League Monday night, you got training Tuesday. It was a madness then, but I'm like, when I've scaled it down, then I get to my 30s, I scale it down where I'm only focusing on one team and not doing too much. That's when the bone decides to break. I was like, this is ridiculous. So it obviously put me out of work for about 6 weeks, locked at home, and I'm like, oh my days, this is ridiculous.
That must have been hard. How was it going?
Bouncing off the walls.
You know what? I think for me it was because I didn't know how else to manage it, because it's the first time I ever broke anything. It was just whatever. You just got on with it. It was like, this is what it is. So just crack on. I think what the nerve-wracking part was when I first took my boot off, put trainers on, and any sort of uneven surface, I could feel it. Everything I could feel. I was like, oh my days, that is ridiculous. And so I broke it in, that would have been December. I started playing again in July. And even that was playing a Sunday league team was nerve-wracking because
scared.
I wanted to play netball. Don't touch me, basically. If the ball comes to me, I'm moving it. I don't want no one near me. Even then, I couldn't move anyway because my ankle's still very stiff because I ain't done much. And it took me a good year maybe to really, I'm still in pain now from that injury because I I haven't taken my physio as serious as I should have. But obviously now I'm in this mindset that I just want to play. I'm in the gym like crazy now. I'm like, my body can't break down like that again. Although muscles ain't going to save a bone breaking. But it's just now I'm like, you know what? Because I still have legs, I can still do it. Why not? Just go for it. And I think once you start playing grassroots and stuff, you realize how much money that costs. So I'm like, nah, forget it. I'll go play as hard as I possibly can. So I don't have to pay nothing.
You're a long time retired.
Honestly.
Got to pay subs and that.
Oh, once you start calculating how much is going out a week, you're like, just to play the game, I'm like, I don't know, you know. So I thought, no, let me go.
Spend money in the bar and that, and then expect you to
pay subs. Then you got to pay signing on fee.
All of that.
Then you want to go Power League during the week. That's another £5-6 out your pocket. You start adding it up, like this don't make sense. So let me go and play at the highest level I can possibly play for now. That will stop that cost, and then carry on. That was me, man.
Now the people at Power Leagues and goals and five-a-side Astros, they're making money. Like
for sure.
Five-a-side's good though.
Yeah, good.
They charge silly prices for the fully booked 24/7 as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Now five-a-side is good. Do you know the thing about five-a-side as well? Yeah, it's always like you don't realize how hard it is. It's like everyone's tired after like couple sprints, and you think you'd be okay because it's a smaller pitch, and then after literally 5 minutes,
that game is non-stop. It's like there's such thing as being a five-a-side player.
That's
the thing. You can be a five-a-side player. You know what I'm saying? Because that game just doesn't stop. And if you don't close someone down, everybody knows you didn't do it. You can't hide. You cannot hide in that game.
You can't have a back touch.
If you're not pulling your weight, everybody knows you're not pulling your weight. Very easy to pick you out. Whereas 11 aside, I didn't track him out leaving, don't worry. Someone else will deal with it. 9-5s. It's a different kind of game.
I've got 60, 70 yards in which to recover that situation. Whereas in five-a-side, it's like, oh, bugger, he's had a touch out his feet. He's having
bang.
He's pulling the trigger.
All because I didn't close him down. Goal, bang. Yeah, it's a different kind of game.
Nah, it's enjoyable there, five-a-side.
Yeah,
It's good for
so-
conditioning, man.
Yeah.
Especially upstairs, like it keeps you.
Mm.
You have to be switched on. Doesn't stop.
I like doing it because my friends used to do it weekly. Stopped a bit now because I was working. But back in the day, on a weekly thing was just that. Because I wasn't playing at a high level. That was just like my thing to do. Like, cool. And the fives is this day, Monday. Then got sevens on the Thursday. Like,
It's just intense, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
intense.
yeah.
When you're done, you're like,
Especially
yeah,
in
that
the
was
league
good.
as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%.
Some people take it seriously.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
you know those
Bread
guys
and
that
butter.
come from work and they have
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
proper kit and
Yeah,
that. They've got shin pads
The
on.
suit off, everything ready.
Uh, yeah, no, that's jokes though. So yeah, just moving on to a bit of Premier League talk. So yeah, I wanted to touch on Garnacho's goal because literally I've just been seeing it
Bro.
everywhere.
When my kids try to do it today, you know, I'm thinking,
So-
bro, what are you trying to do? Bro? Don't be letting the guy gas at you like this. You can't be doing it. No, it's special time to do that, you know.
In my I think that's one of the best goals I've ever seen.
No.
Like,
Nah, you should have taken a touch.
it's,
Well, I mean, there was a debate. I think I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about the difference between Garnacho and Rooney's,
oh yeah, I think
which was
yeah,
better.
one against Man City.
Money as Man City.
Yeah, I think if you were looking technically, Garnacho's.
Yeah.
Technically, Garnacho's.
Occasion
Yeah.
and what it stood for.
Yeah, so you think in context,
Yeah, yeah.
Rooney's was all day long.
Yeah.
But you get, kind of technically,
Yeah, it's actually a shame that I wasn't in like a Champions League final or anything like a meaningful match.
What game was
really.
it? What?
Fulham.
Yeah.
No,
I thought it was Everton. I
Everton.
think it was
Everton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
Everton.
was first goal at Everton. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it wasn't like a lot of the goals you think about like Gareth Bale's goal in the Champions League,
Oh, man.
Ronaldo, Juventus,
Yes.
goals like that. Like they're memorable because of obviously the big games and that.
Of course.
So it's kind of a shame when a goal like that happens when it's a nothing game really.
And the thing is,
He'll pull it out again.
he has to celebrate. Everyone has to celebrate that because you don't get those kind of goals anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
you got
All
scale it
sorts
back
of
10 years.
goals,
Yeah, you scale it back 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I used to love
Get
watching the Football League
screamers.
show
Yeah.
because you watch the Football League show, you are guaranteed to see
Yeah, bang-
screamer
Yeah.
after screamer after screamer.
No.
Whereas now it's get it down, play it, maybe cross the
Yeah.
ball in. Everything's about making it,
Mm.
keep the ball moving, and then make it look like a
Yeah.
nice goal overall, rather than I've just taken a shot from 35
through
yards
ball,
and it's going
run
top
it,
corner.
yeah, run it round the keeper,
Cool.
cut it back, tap it in.
Yeah. Can't lie, I had a game on Saturday. I took a shot from about 40 yards. I got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
fam.
Rightly so.
That's the risk to take.
And rightly so.
You don't score it. Nah,
Like, you
on
have to score.
still.
Yeah,
Well,
you
you
have
have
to
to score
score.
it still.
Yeah,
Or you get on target.
yeah. Nah, if you're gonna take it, like you have to score. Like you gotta score.
I remember Steven Gerrard did it to Xabi Alonso. Front office against Luton in the FA Cup years ago. He's taken a shot from the halfway line, trying to lob the keeper, and Gerrard's turned at him, started ripping his head off. Turns around again and see it going. He was like, "Fair play."
Yeah.
You have to scale it back.
The difference between insanity and genius is the level of success. So,
100%.
I think was it Ronaldo? Was it against Porto or something like that in the Champions League?
Yeah.
About a decade or so ago before he moved to Madrid. It's like,
Yeah, I
he's
remember
about 40 odd yards
Yeah, yeah,
out. He's
yeah.
literally just crossed over the halfway line and he's just absolutely let rip. And the
Rifled
ball's
it.
gone like an arrow right into the top corner. And you go, if that ball even went half a foot wide, you're screaming at him, going, "What the
Hell are you doing?
bleeping hell are you doing?" See, that's responsible. Whereas if it goes in, you go, "Wow, that's why you're paid."
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
like
big
what
bucks.
most of the best goals are like that. It's like wouldn't
You're not
more
supposed
time
to.
you're not supposed to shoot
supposed
from
to.
there. You're not supposed to dribble that
Yeah.
past that many players to try and score. But it's like if they would have done the right thing and maybe
Might
played the
not be
simple
as
pass
good.
or whatever, then those I've seen those things happen.
Which is what
then
you're
to
getting
kind
now,
of-
isn't it? It's
yeah.
pretty much what the game is
Yeah,
now.
well,
Just
legit.
everyone's doing.
But it's kind of, going to kind of the coaching thing. That's what you as a coach have to do, is to ensure that the players do have freedom
Yeah.
to try something. Obviously, if you're, if that ball's coming in at head height and you've got space and you're only half a dozen yards off the goal line, you're not going to try an overhead kick. It's like, no, you do the simple thing. You put your head on it and you stick it in the back of the net. But if it requires that you have to do something unique, something kind of instinctive. You don't want to take that away from, especially kind of, really talented
The expressive
players,
players, yeah.
because otherwise they kind of, they just become a shell of themselves, and you don't want that. You pay them the big bucks. It's like, I need you to go and win me the game. And so if you say, no, you should take a touch, get it at your feet, all this, that, and the other, then you'll lose out on.
Yeah.
The
We
world
talked a bit about that on the previous pod, saying basically like you don't really get players like Hazard anymore. Like,
Yeah,
those
dribbling
flary
players, yeah.
wingers, like Neymar or Ronaldinho, like players who
Exciting.
would just do things
do
that
the
are just
madness, yeah.
random. Like it's a lot more structured. Like
Like, even see the wingers nowadays, they're all at sort of
Number
like,
10s.
they don't, yeah, they don't actually dribble at a man no more. They want that play it back, play it around them, and that.
Cut inside.
It works,
Pass
but
across,
like I say,
move.
it's just not.
it's,
hilarious.
it's effective,
It's effective,
but
yeah.
not as easy on the eye. Which is, you've got to get that balance, I guess.
Yeah.
Like when I'm coaching, I always promote, especially young kids, to be creative and do things off the cuff. Because sometimes in football, a lot of times you don't even think about what you're doing. It just happened. Like you can't even describe what just happened. Like sometimes you just got to let them just play. Have their freedom, be creative, because you don't have all the answers.
No.
Especially managers like to have too much control. We need to pass to the centre back, to the right back, to the CDM, to the right mid. Like football doesn't work like that. Everything
100%.
changes. Every scenario is different. Like things can just happen.
Yeah, but if you want to get the best out of them. So if you're thinking back to probably the best one of the names that you guys were said, I think would have been Ronaldinho, because he was someone he would get the ball and you would just go, okay, something's happening. So something is going to happen here, and it's because he would have the freedom and you'd say, right, go and do something. So long as you coach the basics, right? So the game is played with depth, speed. So long as you've got that, then okay, you make the judgment in the here and now. And if you've got that kind of ability and you get someone 1v1, it's like, no, go on, boy. Go and fill your boots.
100%.
It's all facts. So gonna have to stop it there. So just want to finish it on the obviously it's a Christmas period right now. The end of 2023. 5th episode of Stop Talking Ball. So more things to come in 2024. What's everyone's plans next year? Anything coming up? What's going on?
I would like to try to my UEFA B. Still think it's a bit too early because I definitely see. But I feel like definitely if the opening is there, funds are right, and the timing's right, then definitely get that done in the next. Or let's apply for it and start doing it next year. And also push on a bit, so I'll start doing college level football or like just next step from foundation level or grassroots level, just go as a coach. So that's me for next year. That's my goal.
Yeah, and you can almost copy and paste that for me. So obviously for me, it's the A license that needs to be secured. And again, just as from a coaching standpoint, it's where can I get to? So we're no less ambitious than you players. So we want to get as far as we can. So wherever that road takes, you'll work your backside off to try and get there. So
keep UEL up in there.
Yeah. So but it's a case of, again, looking at what other options are out there, whether it be non-league or professionally. Kind of, what's the maximum that you can get out of it?
Make it to the top.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
For 2024, not really giving it much thought, other than wanting to grow my role at Mill was very, very fresh. It's player care, it's all about player support. All clubs have to have them now. So it's just about building a program that we're building boys from when they come in at under 9s. So by the time they're under 21s, we've obviously tried to help shape a person for whether it is a professional, whether it's the next coach, whether it's the next teacher. It's just giving them the best experiences possible. So it's just about growing that program now and just guess putting my own spin on it. How do I want it to look?
Yeah.
What I think is the best for every single player walking through the club, and how we can best support them to become whoever they want to become. We obviously know what the role of the game is. They want to be pros. They're not all going to be pros. Majority aren't. So it's just, can we give them the best experience? And yeah, and just continue to help support them off the pitch and help them show that they can get there.
Go on the top up for the last bit.
Got that way.
So, is there anything that anyone wants to promote? Like, you got any socials?
Yeah, if you
People
don't
you
want
want
to
people to
follow my
follow?
coaching social, coach.ebs. Coach_ebs 123.
Mine is just my Twitter, Scott Bowen 87. Not on the rest of the socials. You guys are going to be
LinkedIn, though.
You're going to be
Oh, yeah.
infinitely ahead of me on
Yeah.
on all of that stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, so for me, it's just Craig Heskey. That's for Instagram and Twitter/X. And then, yeah, just catch me on there. That's where I put all my coaching, player care sort of stuff, especially with Millwall, any players that I've worked with. So, yeah, just get in touch, man.
Lovely. And of course, Stop Talking Ball. Follow that on all the socials. So Stop Talking Ball on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Twitter, you name it. Stop Talking Ball, where the real ballers talk. If you want to follow my own personal socials, so I got Coach Waters 1-to-1 on Instagram, Facebook. I've recently just got a new website as well with all my services and my gym program on there. So that is coachwaters1to1.com. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know anything that you want to listen to, you want to hear. If you want to come on the show, let me know. Big things coming in 2024. Just gonna try and get as many episodes done as possible. Like, everyone seems to be enjoying it. The feedback's good, getting a lot of love. But yeah, if you feel like there could be improvements, any criticism, I'm here. I'm all ears, because I want to make this as enjoyable, as accessible for everyone. So yeah, Stop Talking Ball, where the real ballers talk.
That's what's up.
Out.